anniversaire de la décision de Yamoussoukro. Normalement, il ne devrait pas tarder à faire son entrée.
We will welcome the minister, the Honorable Minister Duduka, in a few minutes for his opening remarks.
T'es trop bien habillé. T'es très bien habillé. Au revoir.
Au passage, merci à la secrétaire générale de la CAFAC, Madame Adefunke Adeyemi et toute son équipe. Ils n'ont ménagé aucun effort pour la réussite de cet événement. Merci à toute l'équipe de la CAFAC et à sa tête, la secrétaire générale, Madame Adefunke Adeyemi.
We thank the organization of this amazing event.
Remercions les organisations.
Committee, in its lead, Mrs. Adefunke Adeyemi. We thank the partners, Air Senegal, AIBD, Bank of Africa, and the Ministry of Tourism and Recreation of Senegal.
Merci à tous les partenaires également qui se sont joints à l'événement.
Thank you to all partners who joined the event, Minister of Tourism, IADB, the African Development Bank, as well as all partners who kindly
Yes.
Depuis qu'Allah nous donne une mission à l'extérieur du pays, les choses recommencent.
Vivement, vivement. Moi, j'ai discuté avec Kantosan, qui revenait fraîchement de Boaké, en Côte d'Ivoire. Ouais.
Tu m'avais dit, moi j'ai ma famille là-bas. African Rice.
Yeah.
Some of us aspire to take on new challenges, to expand our horizons, and to create something entirely there are those of us who long for adventure, to novel adventures, unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Le lancement des projets pilotes du président. juste vous préciser qu'aujourd'hui, on fête le 23e anniversaire de la décision de Yamoussoukro et le lancement du projet pilote de mise en œuvre du marché unique africain du transport aérien. Alors, nous recevons les 54 États africains qui sont tous invités et avec un programme très, très, très riche. D'ailleurs, nous précisons que ce soir, vous aurez, ou nous aurons plutôt, un dîner qui nous permettra du networking, n'est-ce pas Sarah, qui nous permettra également de découvrir des artistes africains, notamment sénégalais, mais qui vous permettra par ailleurs de découvrir des spécialités purement et exclusivement sénégalaises. Ne rentrez pas, on est encore là jusqu'à ce soir, s'il vous plaît.
Just a reminder of this year's YD anniversary will be used as a forum to launch the SAATM-PIP with the ready and willing states that will fully implement the SAATM based on their existing requisite SAATM implementation enablers, with the view to accelerating the full implementation of the YD decision of the YD, thereby leading to the sustainable development of air transport on the continent. In addition to this, we will host a dinner, a gala dinner, and an award ceremony tonight. So stay tuned. It's going to be epic.
Alors, ça va démarrer à partir de 19h, juste dans la salle qui est juste à la salle verte, qui est juste à côté. Et nous serons probablement là-bas jusqu'à tard dans la soirée.
Yes, it will start at 7 p.m. and it will be right in front of this room, the green salon, the salon vert that you will see right next door. The dinner gala will happen there and the award ceremony as well.
Alors, Sarah, j'aimerais rappeler que pour cette année, le Togo est le pays champion de la MUTA. Est-ce qu'il y a des Togolais parmi nous aujourd'hui? Où sont les Togolais parmi nous aujourd'hui? Est-ce qu'on peut applaudir le pays? Est-ce qu'on peut applaudir des traîtres qui sont là? Bonjour le Togo. Et je précise que d'ailleurs, on a le ministre du Togo qui est là également et qui va prendre part à cet événement. Merci d'être le pays champion de la MUTA. Merci beaucoup au Togo. Merci.
We are pleased to say that the SAATM champion state, the Togolese state, is here today, and we have the Minister of Air, Rail, and Road Transport present today. State of Minister of Air, Honorable Afo Ashadeshi. I'm not sure. Je leur dis en français. On va leur distribuer des enveloppes. On va les distribuer des sacs. Dans le sac, il y aura le programme et la carte d'invitation au dîner.
Alors, tout à l'heure, on va vous distribuer des sacs. Et dans les sacs, vous avez le programme et les cartes d'invitation pour le dîner de gala.
We will distribute bags in which there is the program and invitation cards for the gala dinner.
Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 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 1, 2, 3. Yes. 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 1, 2, 3. 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 Yes. 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 1, 2, 3. Yes. 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 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Alors, les hôtesses vont passer, vous remettre des sacs. Et dans les sacs, vous avez le programme ainsi que les cartes d'invitation pour le dîner. Yes. Yes. Dès que c'est bon. Parce que dès que c'est bon, ok, regarde. Vraiment, yes. Alors, nous invitons tout le monde à se mettre debout pour accueillir Messieurs les ministres qui vont faire leur entrée. Monsieur Doudouka, accompagné de ses pairs, autres ministres des pays africains ici présents, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you for rising to welcome the Honorable Minister of Air Transport and Airport Infrastructure Development, Honorable Mr. Doudouka.
Est-ce qu'on peut les applaudir très fort, s'il vous plaît, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît.
Please applause.
Monsieur le ministre Doudouka, ministre des Transports du Sénégal, bonjour et bienvenue.
Honorable Minister of Air Transport and Airport Infrastructure Development, Mr. Doudouka, thank you for your presence.
Alors, on va vous demander une dernière fois d'applaudir la délégation du ministre et de tous les ministres qui sont ici présents, s'il vous plaît. Nous invitons tous les officiels à les rejoindre au niveau de l'estrade.
We invite all officials to please join them on the stage. Which officials are joining them on stage? Les pays. Tu peux dire les pays? Officials.
Le ministre du Cap-Vert, s'il vous plaît. Le ministre du Cap-Vert et de la Guinée-Bissau, s'il vous plaît.
Ministers of Cabo Verde and Guinea-Bissau.
Le ministre du Cap-Vert et de la Guinée-Bissau, s'il vous plaît. Le ministre du Ghana également, s'il vous plaît. Merci à toutes et à tous. Merci beaucoup. Merci de vous asseoir. Merci beaucoup.
Please take your seats.
Monsieur le ministre, Monsieur Doudouka, ministre des Transports du Sénégal. Monsieur Afo Adjadeti, ministre des Transports du Togo et pays champion de la MUTA, que je vous demande d'applaudir très fort, s'il vous plaît. Honorable Monsieur le ministre Lydie Sindes Chikunga, que je vous demande d'applaudir également, ministre de l'Afrique du Sud. Monsieur Carlos Jorge Duarte Santos, ministre du Tourisme et des Transports du Cap-Vert, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Monsieur Paya Brice Constant, ministre du Transport du Gabon, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Docteur Okante da Silva, ministre du Transport et de la Communication de la Guinée-Bissau, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Monsieur Frédéric Obeng Adam, député ministre des Transports du Ghana, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Monsieur Omarou Malam Ama, ministre du Transport du Niger, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Monsieur des infrastructures du Mali, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Honorable sénateur Adi Aboubakar Serika, ministre de l'Aviation du Nigeria, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Monsieur Honoré Saï, ministre du Transport de la République du Congo, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Monsieur Jean-Pierre Karabaranga, ambassadeur du Sénégal, représentant du ministre des Infrastructures du Rwanda, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît, Son Excellence. Et je finis par Madame Angie El Yazi, du ministère du Transport de l'Égypte, sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Très chers directeurs généraux des AAC, PDG des compagnies aériennes, directeurs généraux des aéroports, honorables invités, en vos rangs, grades et fonctions, nous vous souhaitons la bienvenue à cette terre de la Teranga, à ce Sénégal, à cette terre d'hospitalité. J'aimerais qu'on fasse un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour toutes les personnes ici réunies, s'il vous plaît. Nous saluons également la présence du ministre des Transports de la Libye, M. Mohamed El Charouabi, qui est là également, Monsieur le ministre. Nous nous excusons de cette erreur, s'il vous plaît. Merci de l'applaudir, s'il vous plaît. Aujourd'hui, à cette terre du Sénégal, nous fêtons le 23e anniversaire de la décision de Yamoussoukro avec le lancement du projet pilote de la mise en œuvre du marché unique africain de transport aérien. Je m'appelle Étienne Dour et j'ai l'insigne honneur d'être le maître de cérémonie en compagnie de ma collègue Sarah Wagé, que je vous demande vivement d'applaudir, elle qui va s'occuper de la version anglaise. Sarah, bonjour.
Good morning, everyone. A very warm Nagendef greetings. Welcome to King Fahd Palace for the 23rd anniversary of the Yamoussoukro Decision Day, hosted by the African Civil Aviation Commission, ACAC. My name is Sarah, and I will be the MC of this event with my dear colleague, Mr. Etienne Dour. We are very pleased and honored to have you this morning because we are aware of your heavily filled agendas. So thank you, dear Excellencies, honorable and distinguished guests, for your presence this morning, coming from all over Africa. Your presence here is in the remembrance and celebration of this historical day is a sign of your strong commitment to making the dream of Cheikh Anta Diop, Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, Sékou Touré, Leopold Sédar Senghor, and the list never ends, making the African dream happen. A united Africa, holding hands and imposing our industries and therefore our own rules on an international level. Thank you, everyone, and clap for yourselves.
Merci Sarah. Alors, la vision de l'aviation africaine est de permettre une Afrique connectée, prospère et unie. Vous avez déjà fait tant de progrès et aujourd'hui, en ce 23e anniversaire de la décision de Yamoussoukro, le thème « Accélération de la libéralisation du transport aérien en Afrique pour améliorer la connectivité ». Oh, qui n'aurait pas aimé voyager tranquillement dans ce continent, qui n'aurait pas aimé avoir des facilités de transport aérien. Et je pense que c'est pour ça que l'équipe de la CAFAC, ainsi que tous les partenaires et les ministres ici réunis, se sont mobilisés afin de rendre ce projet réel et existant. Ensemble, nous pouvons le faire. Ensemble, nous allons le faire pour une Afrique unie et prospère. Sous cela, je vous demande vivement d'applaudir le représentant de M. Levert Mabosso, M. Levert Mabosso, le représentant du président de la CAFAC, sous vos acclamations, s'il vous plaît. Monsieur Levert Mabosso, s'il est là, qui va parler au nom, s'il vous plaît, merci de l'acclamer très très fort, qui va parler au nom du président de la CAFAC. Il est ambassadeur de l'Afrique du Sud auprès de l'OSACI. Sous vos acclamations, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you very much, Program Director. I'm here representing the President of AFCAC, who had flight issues. I think he suffered the lack of liberalization, so he can only be here tonight. So you can see it also affects us. So I'm going to deliver a speech on his behalf. The opening remarks. Honorable ministers, heads of delegations, state representatives, representatives of international and regional organizations, aviation experts, distinguished guests, all protocols observed. Good morning. Welcome to this 23rd anniversary of the Yamoussoukro decision, YD. It is an honor to have you all here with us to celebrate YD and check the progress made thus far as we chart new ways forward. I also extend my appreciation and thanks to the government and good people of the Republic of Senegal for firstly hosting AFCAC and secondly for the warm Teranga hospitality we always enjoy on our arrival to Senegal and this beautiful city of Dakar. In 1999, when the Yamoussoukro decision was signed, it was aimed at creating liberalized airspace to foster the growth of the air transport sector in Africa alongside the fair competition. Subsequent to the decision, several mechanisms and framework have been established to propel its implementation, starting with the Single African Air Transport Market, SAATM, in 2018, and recently the adoption of the Dispute Settlement Mechanism, the adoption of the policy guidelines for negotiations of air service agreements between EU member states and other countries and regions, and the revised African Civil Aviation Policy, AFCAP. These initiatives and frameworks have created conducive environment to accelerate the full implementation of the YD and SAATM in order to support the resilient and sustainable improvement of intra-Africa connectivity, tourism, and trade, and to facilitate the quick realization of the AU Agenda 2063. With the renewed impetus of at AFCAC. This event will be very unique as we will be witnessing the launch of the Single African Air Transport Market Pilot Implementation Project, PIP, which will set us on the path closer to realizing the target of YD of having fully open skies to each other. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the 23rd YD anniversary is celebrated under the theme Acceleration of Air Transport Liberalization in Africa to Improve Continental Connectivity and Integration, with a shared objective of an integrated, peaceful, and prosperous Africa, where air transport is expected to play a pivotal role in generating economic growth, alleviating poverty, enabling access to healthcare, food, and education, while enhancing mobility and connecting different cultures, and can contribute to social welfare of Africans as envisioned by the AU Agenda 2063 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I'm quite optimistic that the future of air transport in Africa is very bright, despite the challenges that are currently inherent and associated with the sector. Ever since the operationalization of the executive agency, a lot of work has been done and progress is being made, albeit slowly, to position the sector for transformational growth. In this regard, I urge the remaining member states that are yet to join the SAATM to consider its positive benefits and sign the solemn commitment. Inclusive participation is crucial for us to realize the much needed transformation in accelerating our socio-economic integration and unlock untapped investment possibilities, which can only be stimulated by an interconnected intra-Africa air transport. Let me therefore seize partners as our cooperation and collaboration to harness the promising opportunities in the aviation arena and build on our many common aviation interests. Finally, I wish to once more express my sincere appreciation to all of you that took out time to be here with us physically, and I would like to wish us all fruitful anniversary event. I thank you.
Merci à Monsieur l'ambassadeur de la Côte d'Ivoire, de Sud-Afrique, auprès de l'OACI, représentant du président de la CAFAC, Monsieur Silas Ouademouka. Votre discours à l'endroit des pays africains appelle à une mobilisation de toutes les forces pour que cette libéralisation et cette connectivité puissent être réelles. Et ce projet a été lancé il y a longtemps par des Africains qui aujourd'hui auraient pu être là avec nous. C'est ainsi qu'on vous invite tous à marquer une minute de silence à l'honneur de toutes ces personnes qui ne sont plus là aujourd'hui, mais présents de par leurs œuvres et de par leurs actes.
We will observe a minute's silence for all the pioneers, all the people who have devoted themselves to this cause and who are no longer here today. They are here with us in spirit and in heart. They are with us by their actions.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Alors, si la régie nous le permet, nous allons découvrir le message du docteur Amani Abouzaïd de la Commission africaine des infrastructures et de l'énergie. Dans quelques minutes, on va transmettre le message du docteur Amané Abouzaïd de la Commission africaine des infrastructures et de l'énergie, toujours dans le cadre de cet anniversaire de la décision de Yamoussoukro. Alors, le temps du revenir, nous allons à présent passer la parole au pays champion de la MUTA, au ministre des Transports aériens, son Excellence Afo Acha Dedi, sous vos applaudissements s'il vous plaît. Je pense que le Togo mérite des applaudissements beaucoup plus amples que cela, d'autant plus que c'est le pays champion.
For the present celebration of Yamoussoukro Day focuses on acceleration of air transport liberalization Africa.
Sous vos applaudissements, mesdames, mademoiselles et messieurs, merci d'accueillir son honorable Afo Acha Dedi, ministre des Transports du Togo, pays champion de la MUTA, s'il vous plaît.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين. Au nom de Dieu, le clément, le miséricordieux, Seigneur des mondes. Avant toute chose, je voudrais qu'on acclame très fort mon cher ami frère, le ministre du Sénégal, pour cet accueil chaleureux pour l'organisation de cette fête. Monsieur le ministre des Transports aériens et développement des infrastructures aéroportuaires du Sénégal. Excellence, chers frères et amis, ministre en charge des transports aériens ici présents, Madame la commissaire aux infrastructures et à l'énergie de la Commission de l'Union africaine, Monsieur le représentant du président et Madame le secrétaire général de la Commission africaine de l'aviation civile, CAFAC, Monsieur le secrétaire général de l'Association des compagnies aériennes africaines, AFRA, Monsieur le secrétaire général du Conseil international des aéroports, ACI, pour la région Afrique, distingués partenaires et participants, Messieurs les professionnels des médias, Mesdames et Messieurs, tout protocole respecté. C'est un grand plaisir et un honneur pour moi de m'adresser à vous à l'occasion de la 23e édition de la commémoration de la décision de Yamoussoukro. La décision de Yamoussoukro est entrée en vigueur en juillet 2000 après son adoption par les chefs d'État et des gouvernements africains à Lomé au Togo. Son principal objectif est d'améliorer la connectivité et l'intégration du continent par la libéralisation des services de transport aérien réguliers et non réguliers en Afrique. Lors de la 24e session ordinaire de l'Union africaine qui s'est tenue à Addis Abeba, en Éthiopie, les 30 et 31 janvier 2015, les chefs d'État ont décidé de créer le marché unique des transports aériens en Afrique. Le lancement du marché unique, donc le MITA, en tant que premier projet phare de l'agenda 2063 de l'UA, le 28 janvier 2018, est considéré comme un tournant vers la libéralisation complète du marché des transports aériens sur le continent. La mise en œuvre réussie du marché unique est considéré comme essentiel à la réussite du programme d'intégration, de développement et de croissance du continent. Le président de la République du Togo, son Excellence, M. Faure Essoazina Gnassingbé, en tant que président champion du MITA, s'est engagé à assurer la réalisation des marchés du transport aérien pleinement intégrés et n'a cessé de plaider pour que tous les États membres rejoignent et mettent en œuvre le MITA. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, notre continent a un lien à venir dans le domaine du transport aérien. C'est pourquoi, comme les doigts d'une main, nous devons unir nos efforts pour voir ce continent s'épanouir et pour faciliter la connectivité entre nos grandes villes. La célébration du 23e anniversaire de la décision de Yamoussoukro nous donne donc l'occasion, en tant que ministre des Transports, en charge de l'aviation, de nous engager en faveur des avantages continentaux de la mise en œuvre complète de la décision de Yamoussoukro et du MITA, telle que présentée dans l'étude continentale commandée par l'UIA afin de contribuer au succès de l'agenda 2063 de l'UIA et au développement socio-économique de nos États respectifs et du continent. Cette étude a permis d'identifier 15 États qui disposent des moyens nécessaires pour procéder à la mise en œuvre complète du MITA. Nous sommes heureux de collaborer avec la CAFAC pour coordonner les activités entre ces États en vue de l'établissement et la réalisation de la 5e liberté par le biais du lancement et des actions du projet pilote pour la mise en œuvre du MITA. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, l'étude a identifié un certain nombre d'États qui disposent d'un environnement favorable à la mise en œuvre réussie du MITA. Afin d'encourager tous les États membres à accélérer la mise en œuvre complète et durable du MITA, en ma qualité de ministre en charge des transports aériens, État champion du MITA, et avec la collaboration de mon collègue ministre de l'État hôte, le ministre des Transports aériens et du Développement des infrastructures aéroportières du Sénégal, nous profiterons de la présente célébration du 23e anniversaire le 14 novembre 2022 pour lancer le club des 15 États africains qui sont prêts et désireux de mettre la décision de Yamoussoukro et le MITA. Cette activité aboutira à l'alignement des accords bilatéraux des services aériens respectifs de ces États membres en marge de l'ICANN 2022 prévu à Abuja au Nigeria le 6 décembre 2022. Excellences, Messieurs les ministres, nous devrions encourager les États membres, les compagnies aériennes éligibles et toutes les institutions partenaires à se donner la main pour accélérer la mise en œuvre complète du MITA. Les États membres doivent faire preuve de volonté politique à l'égard de cette initiative cruciale, de nos chefs d'État et de gouvernement, afin de favoriser la libéralisation des marchés du transport aérien sur le continent, tout en encourageant les autres États à ouvrir pleinement leurs marchés. À ce jour, 35 États membres ont pris l'engagement solennel de mettre pleinement en œuvre la décision de Yamoussoukro et le MITA, et 23 États ont signé le mémorandum d'exécution pour son opérationnalisation inconditionnelle et sa mise en œuvre intégrale. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, par conséquent, engageons-nous tous à faire passer le taux de mise en œuvre de la 5e liberté en Afrique, qui est de 14%, de le passer à 30% d'ici 2025, grâce à l'octroi des droits de trafic de 5e liberté entre les États africains. Je souhaite également appeler tous les États membres qui n'ont pas signé l'engagement solennel de mettre en œuvre le MITA à le faire sans plus tarder. Enfin, je compte sur tous nos efforts pour atteindre cet objectif. Et sur cette note, je vous souhaite à toutes et à tous une excellente journée de commémoration de la décision de Yamoussoukro. Merci de votre aimable attention.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le ministre. Monsieur Afo Acha Deji, ministre des Transports du Togo et pays champion de la MUTA. L'objectif d'ici 2025, 30% sera atteint. Sera atteint parce que tous les autres pays qui n'ont pas encore, qui ne se sont pas encore engagés, vont à partir d'aujourd'hui s'engager pour une Afrique unie, une Afrique prospère, une Afrique qui prendra des ailes. Merci encore de l'applaudir très, très, très fort, s'il vous plaît. Alors, à présent, avec la complicité de la régie, on aimerait lancer la vidéo du docteur Amani Abou
President of the
Saïd.
Republic of Togo, champion of SAATM, ably represented by the Minister of Transport, honorable ministers, honorable heads of delegations and international organizations, honorable Secretary, His Excellency, President of the Republic of Togo, champion of SAATM, ably represented by the Minister of Transport, honorable ministers, honorable heads of delegations and international organizations, honorable General of AFCAC and of AFRA, the African Airlines Association, the Honorable Directors General, participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a great pleasure to join me today on one of the important days for not just AFCAC or civil aviation, but for Africa at large. The theme for the present celebration of Yamoussoukro Day focuses on acceleration of air transport liberalization in Africa to improve continental connectivity and integration. It is pertinent in the era of operationalization of the single African air transport market launched by the African Union heads of states and governments on 29th of January 2018 as the first flagship project of the African Union Agenda 2063. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency, the President of Togo, the champion of SAATM, and also I would like to express the appreciation to the President and people of Senegal, the host country of AFCAC. I wish to congratulate and thank AFCAC Bureau, Secretary General, and all the teams for the remarkable achievements and the excellent work done in the preparation, the coordination of African position papers, and the election of 8 African candidates at the ICAO Council during the 41st ICAO General Assembly held in Montreal, Canada in September 2022. Congratulations to all 8 member states. Let me also express to all of you and to civil aviations across the continent and the organizations, the different organizations, African and African, that are operating on the continent. Your contribution and your support on the way we are pushing for a seamless travel and connected Africa is highly, highly appreciated. This is the ability to fulfill the mandate of the executing agency of CAC of the Yamoussoukro decision, operationalization of SAATM is a remarkable achievement, and we should continue our efforts in order to ensure that all African and all goods are able to zigzag the continent seamlessly, affordably, and sustainably. My sincere gratitude to all our partners for the support and the availability that they have expressed towards this end. Noticeable efforts have been made at various levels by the African states, notably 35 SAATM member states, to comply with the requirements of the Yamoussoukro decision and the SAATM, and a lot of challenges remain, such as high aviation charges and fees, insufficient cooperation among airlines, rising jet fuel costs, economic and social crises affecting passengers' incomes, and many other challenges, especially in the ongoing efforts to advocate for the remaining 20 African states to join SAATM. There is need for all of us to double and triple efforts in order to overcome these numerous constraints and challenges and to address the difficulties that air transport may and could be encountering in these very difficult times across the globe. Honorable guests and distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, successful liberalization of air transport services through the Yamoussoukro decision and the SAATM in Africa enable our member states to fast-track social economic development through easier access to territories and resources, consolidate our international and trade relations among ourselves, but also with partners, as well as reduce negative effects of food insecurity, wars, and epidemics by rapid conveyance of foodstuffs and medicines. Indeed, aviation should be a catalyst and is a catalyst of socio-economic development and integration of our continent. The future growth of aviation strongly supports the realization of the African Union Agenda 2063 by promoting inclusive growth and sustainable development and accelerating the integration in the African economies. The increased air connectivity feeds into aviation reinvestment, creating a dynamic and healthy cycle of complementarity, national aviation and economic development with world-class infrastructure. We believe it is time to change track by adopting a new approach to improve the readiness of the African states to better volunteer for the full liberalization of air transport in Africa and the integration of the continent in response to the needs of our airlines and the African population, in line with the decision of the 18th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of States and Government of the African Union, which adopted establishment of a continental free trade area. The objective of the African Free Trade Area, among other things, is to expand intra-African trade through better harmonization and coordination of trade liberalization, including air transport and facilitation regimes. I wish to confirm the African Union's Commission support to AFCAC in advancing the sustainable development of air transport industry on the continent. Fast-tracking the operationalization and implementation of SAATM has been one of our topmost priorities since 2020 in order not only to support the restart and recovery of the industry after COVID-19 pandemic, but to also reposition Africa aviation sector on a renewed path that will enable the socio-economic integration of our continent. Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking to you today from COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, which is, as you know, the Africa COP. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of sustainability. I cannot emphasize enough the importance also of fast-tracking the adoption of sustainable approaches in our air transport, smart approaches in our airports, and the adoption and the localization of the production of the sustainable aviation fuel in our continent. There is a great opportunity for the continent in order to become really a hub for the production of SAF, which we should absolutely all work towards and make sure that our transport and especially our air transport is at the top level of technology and sustainability. We have this opportunity. Smart technologies are available, and sustainable approaches are becoming increasingly competitive, and we should take advantage of this important opportunity. I would like also to seize this important day and these celebrations to thank you all and to thank our industry of air transport in Africa for being the heroes under COVID, when despite the challenges, you continue to serve the emergencies and to transport vaccines and transport medicine and transport medical goods, and later continued also despite challenges and the obstacles to operate. I cannot be prouder than last summer when I've seen airlines across the world, the biggest airlines, having problems and their airports being in difficult state, whereas in Africa, our airlines continue to perform at the highest level and our airports were exemplary. As I always say to everybody, always make sure to fly African. You are making all of us proud. Continue on this path, and while we continue improving. We need to improve fast. We need to fulfill the dreams and hopes and ambitions of our population. And what best to celebrate in this very day, to celebrate not only the excellent performance of our airlines throughout the years, especially under the difficulties we are facing today, but also to celebrate 35 countries who have adopted and the SAATM, and we hope that the 20 more countries will join very soon. I wish I was able to attend the celebration with you. I hope that I do that next time. Until then, I wish you all fantastic celebrations and a very happy Yom Sukri Day. And I thank you.
Merci beaucoup au docteur Mané Abouzaïd. Je pense que son discours a été compris par tout le monde et c'est toujours dans le cadre d'inviter tout le monde à cette libéralisation et cette connectivité des États africains et des ministères du transport. Alors, je le disais tantôt, avant-hier, le Sénégal fêtait son 10 millionième passager de l'AIBD, de l'aéroport Blaise Diagne, qui a été créé en 2017. Ceci montre tout juste l'énorme travail que va le ministère des Transports aériens. Et on aurait pu avoir un ministre aussi aguerri qui ne saurait pas être, monsieur le ministre Doudouka. Alors, j'aimerais en ce moment l'inviter, ses pairs, à prononcer son discours en tant que pays d'hôte. Sous vos applaudissements, merci d'accueillir le ministre des Transports aériens et du développement des infrastructures aéroportuaires du Sénégal.
Merci M. Ndou. Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, Madame le commissaire de l'Union africaine pour les infrastructures et l'énergie, le commissaire, bien entendu, Mesdames et Messieurs les ambassadeurs, Monsieur le représentant du président de la CAFAC, Mesdames et Messieurs les directeurs généraux et autorités de l'aviation civile ici présentes, Madame le secrétaire général de la CAFAC, Mesdames et Messieurs les secrétaires généraux et représentants des organisations internationales et régionales, Mesdames et Messieurs les journalistes, distingués invités en vos titres, rangs et qualités, chers participants, la décision, mon collègue l'a rappelé tantôt, la décision de Yamoussoukro dont nous célébrons ici à Dakar, le 23e anniversaire, est un événement majeur de l'aviation civile africaine. C'est un grand honneur pour le Sénégal d'abriter la cérémonie commémorative de ce 14 novembre 2022 qui consacre la décision de 44 États membres de l'Union africaine signataires d'ouvrir les marchés aériens à la concurrence transnationale. En ma qualité de ministre des Transports aériens et du développement des infrastructures aéroportuaires du Sénégal, je voudrais avant tout vous transmettre le message d'espoir et de bienvenue de son Excellence, M. Macky Sall, président de la République du Sénégal, par ailleurs président en exercice de l'Union africaine, qui attache du prix à la bonne mise en œuvre de la décision de Yamoussoukro, approuvée, comme vous l'avez rappelé tantôt dans les différents discours en 2000, mais également lors de la conférence de l'Union africaine tenue à Addis Abeba le 30 et 31 janvier 2015, comme instrument de mise en œuvre de notre volonté souveraine de créer en Afrique un marché unique des transports aériens. C'est le lieu pour moi de remercier chacun d'entre vous pour avoir bien voulu accepter de sacrifier de son temps, que je sais si précieux, pour venir assister dans notre cher pays de la Teranga à cet important événement de l'aviation civile africaine. Le choix du thème de cette année, vous l'avez rappelé tantôt, accélération de la libéralisation du transport aérien en Afrique pour améliorer la connectivité et l'intégration continentale, traduit à suffisance l'impératif pour les États africains d'aller vers un monde plus connecté et mieux intégré. Je sais d'avance que ce sujet fera l'objet de débats passionnés entre les experts venus des différents États et les représentants des organisations régionales et internationales. Pour autant que l'on s'en souvienne, c'est en 2018 que l'Assemblée générale de l'Union africaine a adopté le principe du marché unique de transports aériens africains, MUTA. L'adoption en 2019 de la décision de Yamoussoukro marque la volonté des États signataires de rendre opérationnelle cette vision déclinée au plus haut niveau par les autorités de l'Union africaine, de mettre en œuvre des politiques de transport aériens susceptibles de contribuer à leur développement respectif, tout en jouant, bien entendu, un rôle majeur dans le renforcement des capacités de négociation et d'harmonisation de la position de l'Afrique au niveau des débats internationaux. Du fait de la diversité des acteurs concernés, de la complexité de la prise en charge des spécificités propres à chaque État, je reste convaincu que la mise en œuvre de la décision implique la valorisation de toutes les opportunités de partenariat entre États, la mise en œuvre d'un cadre législatif et réglementaire approprié au niveau de chaque pays et une mise à disposition constante de l'information commerciale sur l'état de la concurrence. C'est la raison pour laquelle je n'ai aucun doute que les résultats que nos échanges contribueront à améliorer la circulation des personnes, des biens, ainsi qu'à promouvoir d'autres activités essentielles de développement sur notre continent. La création d'un marché unique du transport aérien africain constituera une étape importante dans le processus d'intégration de notre continent. Mesdames et Messieurs, le contexte international, marqué par la crise sanitaire majeure ainsi que par les tensions géopolitiques diverses, doit nous inciter davantage à une coopération accrue et durable, qui soit à même de permettre au secteur des transports aériens en Afrique de jouer son rôle de vecteur, comme l'a rappelé le représentant du président de la CAFAC, de vecteur du développement économique et social. C'est pourquoi cet anniversaire que nous célébrons aujourd'hui devrait non seulement être une occasion de faire le point sur les grandes étapes franchies, mais également une opportunité pour définir les perspectives de la construction de ce marché commun de plus d'1 milliard de personnes qui constituera une source inestimable d'opportunités pour l'ensemble de nos États. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, distingués invités, C'est le lieu de saluer à sa juste valeur le travail méritoire accompli par la Commission de l'Union africaine et la Commission africaine de l'aviation civile, CAFAC, agence d'exécution de la décision de Yamoussoukro dans le cadre de la mise en œuvre du projet du marché unique du transport aérien à l'horizon 2063. Le Sénégal, pour sa part, est fier d'abriter le siège de cet important cadre de coopération qu'est la CAFAC, qui travaille au quotidien à rendre l'aviation civile africaine plus sûre, plus sécure, plus saine et plus rentable et plus respectueuse de notre environnement. C'est pourquoi il nous paraît important de renforcer davantage ses missions, de façon à lui donner les moyens de promouvoir un environnement plus propice à la compétitivité et une véritable culture du transport aérien et de l'innovation technologique en Afrique. Je voudrais, en ces mots, vous remercier de votre aimable attention et vous souhaite à tous et à tous plein succès dans vos travaux et bon séjour dans notre pays de la Teranga. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le ministre, Monsieur Doudouka. Merci de toujours inviter vos pairs à ce que tous les États africains rejoignent ce projet et qu'ils en fassent un. L'objectif, 30% en 2025, sera, Inch'Allah, atteint. Alors, on va continuer avec une personnalité qui fait partie des 200 personnes les plus influentes en Afrique, qui jouit de plus de 20 ans d'expérience dans le monde aérien, dans l'industrie aérienne. Elle s'appelle Madame Adefunke Adeyemi, secrétaire générale de la CAFAC, que je vous demande vivement d'applaudir, s'il vous plaît.
Excellencies, our host minister, our champion state minister, our honorable ministers present, our DGs, heads of delegation, sister organizations, CEOs and leaders of industry, delegates, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, thank you all for coming. AFCAC is deeply honored by the presence of so many ministers at this event, which shows the commitment of the highest level of decision-making and policy-making in Africa to fast-track and accelerate the implementation of SAATM. Allow me to start with a question. As many of you traveled great distances and had to cross many cities to get here within the same continent, the question I have is, what is the true size of Africa? If I can have the slides up, that would be helpful. Thank you. What is the true size of Africa? Many of us who flew here during the course of the past 2 days experienced it in real time. But I'd like to show you also what the true size of Africa is. It is a continent that can fit many others in its geographical landmass. So here we are. We experience it when we travel, but the true size is 30 million square kilometers. And when you measure it, it can fit the United States of America, Mexico, China, and so many other countries into its landmass. This is an important and significant fact because it is the reason why aviation is so critical to Africa. And that is also why the priorities of both the Organization of African Union and the African Union single out the elements and industries and sectors that can connect and integrate Africa better. through the SAATM, the Single African Air Transport Market, the African Continental Free Trade Area, and the Free Movement Protocol for people and goods. What is the outcome or the objective of all of these initiatives of the African Union? It is simply to accelerate Africa's economic and social development with a better integrated continent. So, to the next slide, let's talk about the journey of SAATM. As many of you have journeyed, so has SAATM. The next slide shows us how we started. Right from 1988 up until 1999, when we had the decision. And then in 2000, endorsed by heads of states, the highest level of decision-making for Africa. In 2002, it became binding on 44 countries in Africa. And AFCAC became the executing agency in 2007. From 2007 up until 2013, there was a lot of work done in the background. And in 2013, African heads of state again began the journey to accelerate Africa's air market liberalization, recognizing it as an enabler for economic development. And so the SAATM initiative was born, and it was finally endorsed in 2018 by African heads of state. The aim of SAATM is not just to implement the Yamoussoukro decision, which is the legal framework for market liberalization in Africa, but it is also to be a multilateral system, which means that individual states don't need to negotiate between themselves, but rather across themselves. That is also the purpose of the YD, which is to ensure that Africa can be connected not just within regions, but across regions. So, what are the benefits of this SAATM that we talk about? Many of us have seen this image in different forms over the years, but for those of us who may have not, it is simple. Liberalization of the air and air markets brings significant benefits, from supporting passengers like you and I as we fly to have better service, better connectivity, better access to air services, and better competition, leading to lower fares, leading to increased traffic growth, which generates trade, tourism, investment, productivity, and ultimately contribution to economies, creation of jobs, and general well-being for African citizens and the rest of the world. So we take this in stages. Stage one, where are we today? Based on data and from a study that was commissioned by the African Union, in 2019, total intra-African traffic was about 14.5 million passengers. Within the SAATM group of 35, the number was 7.6 million, thereabouts. And within the intra-SAATM YD compliant, meaning the ones who are already implementing YD to the full extent of fifth freedom, the traffic was less, about 4 million. These numbers are telling us a story. The wider picture of traffic in Africa, 14 million. Among the 35, 7 point something million. But amongst the YD compliant, 3 million. What it means is that YD is not being fully implemented across Africa. And as mentioned by the champion state honorable minister, where we are today, sorry, can we go back one slide? Where we are today is 14.5%. One more slide, back one more. One more. Okay, so let's go forward. I don't see the slide. Where we are today is 14.5%. Where we want to be is 30% by 2025. We may think that that is a big leap. It may be ambitious, but what does it actually mean? It simply means increasing the number of fifth freedom routes between these 15 countries that form the SAATM-PIP. That's what it means. And that is why we're so excited by the commitment shown by these our honorable ministers and leaders of aviation to fast-track the implementation of SAATM. Next slide, please. According to data that we received from AFRA, our partner, thank you very much, we have a sample of airlines that operate fifth freedom rights. South African Airways to Air Senegal, of course, Ethiopian, Air Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya Airways, Rwanda, Air Peace, Group Transair, Royal Air Maroc. It's a sample. There are quite a number of airlines that operate fifth freedom. But we're taking a sample just as SAATM-PIP is a sample. It's a pilot project. Based again on the data that we received from AFRA, which does not cover all airlines and all airline operations, and by which we ask and encourage our states and airlines and partners to share data with us so that we can do a full simulation for the entire continent. We have a list again of the freedom rights and how it is divided across the continent. And we can see it for ourselves. Again, this is just to show you the states out of the 35 states that are implementing SAATM. And the bars in red are our 15 SAATM-PIP states. And we can see that they have significant activity on fifth freedom routes. The next slide shows us some of the airports that actually receive the most fifth freedom routes, with Douala standing very high on that point. And the reason is probably because of the nature of the regions of Africa. Next slide, please. Africa is not a country, as we all know. It is a continent of 55 countries. So again, we've taken one sample of an airline from Côte d'Ivoire, Air Côte d'Ivoire, showing some of its fifth freedom routes. It's just a sample. We will do a bigger study and a bigger exercise that covers the entire continent. We're just starting out. Now, the nature of the regions. This is a very important slide. Again, this is taken from the study commissioned by the African Union. The scheduled capacity, the capacity by freedoms. What do freedoms of the air mean? It means the ability for people to go easily between cities. So we can see that in South Africa, East Africa, and North Africa, our point-to-point traffic from city A to city B is very high. This is the blue bar. Going from city A to city B, very high. Now, Central and West Africa, it is less. The yellow bar is slightly more. What does this bar tell us? Central Africa, by nature, is made up of many landlocked countries and many states that don't have airlines. And so they welcome fifth freedom air services from other countries. So this is very instructive, that fifth freedom air services helps to unlock access to Africa. Next slide, please. So where do we want to be? That's phase 2. This is where we want to be, 14.5% to 30% by 2025. Next slide. And that same study also lets us know that if all of the 55 countries in Africa implemented additional fifth freedom routes between themselves, even one more, just one, adding one across the states, it will lead to significant benefits. But if all of them were to do so, it would create additional GDP from aviation and tourism up to, and new jobs, up to almost 600,000 new jobs. For a policymaker, this would be exciting news that for my country, if I was to increase or introduce a new fifth freedom route with 2 other countries, it will create jobs for my citizens and my people. That's very exciting. It will also bring additional 1.1 billion in trade. African countries can trade between each other. And we've been working with the African Continental Free Trade Area to map the goods that countries trade between themselves. And it is quite exciting what the opportunities are between Africa. So in total, we expect to see almost 5 billion increased additional GDP for the continent of Africa just from increasing fifth freedom routes across Africa. And also a 51% increase in traffic, both for passenger and cargo, within 2 to 3 years. So it is an exciting prospect. How do we get there? That is the question. That has been the biggest issue. Implementation. That is why this project is so important. The name is the SAATM Pilot Implementation Project. We are going to pilot implementation. We're going to test the case across these 15 countries with different initiatives. The launch of the PIP is today, and we're so excited to be here. Following that, we have another event where we bring African countries together under the umbrella of ICAO during the ICANN for a dedicated workshop on SAATM, where we will be sharing an AFCAC YD compliant air service agreement that these states can share amongst themselves and hopefully align. Also, the application of key indicators and so many other things, and recognizing all eligible African airlines. And there are different frameworks. We now have a dispute settlement mechanism, in addition to a competition regulation and consumer protection regulation. So we have the foundations. We don't have everything yet, but we have enough to start. Promoting policy domestication of the African civil aviation policy, where states do not have their own domestic regulations, and building a stakeholder coalition. AFCAC is merely the executing agency, but we have to work with all of our partners, not just with our member states, but with all partners to work to make this happen. And also, we support the states who need improvement in certain areas. As I wrap up the presentation, and before we go into the exciting moment of the launch of our SAATM-PIP, we also have to focus on a critical element. In as much as we may have the regulatory frameworks and all of the other elements, there are some things that still stand in the way of SAATM implementation, which we call non-physical barriers, sometimes man-made barriers. We need to work together to clear some of these barriers, which you can see up there. We also need to support our airlines to cooperate, to partner, and of course we'll be working with AFRA, IATA, ACAO, and all of our different, ARCO and all of our different organizations, and ASA, to ensure that we work together to make this a reality. Finally, these are the flags of our countries, the 15. It is a moment of pride for us all in Africa, and particularly for us in AFCAC. We are really proud that these countries have come forward with their commitment to go into this accelerating project. And of course, these are many of our stakeholders. So going to the end, what do we have to do? We have to finalize the roadmap for this implementation. And again, we are working with our partners to do that. So our states, let me just let you know, to call them out for those who may be wondering who are the 15. This Cape Verde, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, Togo, and Zambia. Congratulations. We will have a coalition of different stakeholders. We can see them. We have the strategic stakeholder from the president of Togo, the champion, and his minister. We have the ministerial coalition, and we have many of our key stakeholders, ICAO, the regional economic communities, AFCFTA, UNECA, and so on. We then have the states themselves, the directors general who will operationalize the ministries of transport, the focal points, the national implementation committees, immigration, customs, all of the affiliates, tourism boards. We bring them all together, chambers of commerce. And then the industry, as I've mentioned already, AFRA, AZA, IATA, ACI, CANZO, OEMs, and ASECNA, our development partners, UNECA, AFDB, AFREXIM, World Bank, local commercial banks. The private sector is also important. And perhaps the most important stakeholder is you, the traveling African, the traveling public, the consumer of aviation. So we will also be engaging with our consumer groups. Last roadmap, the next slide. The next slide. The cost of non-implementation. Why is this important? If we don't do it, what does it mean? I shared already in one of the first slides that Africa, with a population of 1.4 billion people, has only about 100 and something million past people in Africa flying. That's less than 10%. Imagine if we were to increase it to 15. Imagine what it would do for economies, for people, opportunities that it can bring. So there will be additional 16 million passengers that can fly over the next 2 to 3 years. But they can't fly right now. Why? Because there's not enough connectivity. There's not enough, it's very expensive, it's not affordable. The flight availability, the service, convenience, it's not really there. The AFCFTA says that air transport will double the number of tons transported. And guess what? Under the AFCFTA, the UNECA, United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, did a study that says that up until 2050, it will require $350 billion additional funding to buy trucks to move goods by road. $350 billion. For air traffic, it's only $25 billion. Only $25 billion between now and 2050. So that means in the next 3 years, maybe all we're talking about is $5 billion. Is $5 billion difficult for Africa? No. We have the resources, we have the finances, and we have the motivation to get what we need. It is only 256 additional aircraft that are required. We can do it. And so, as I close, and before I invite our next steps, the reason why we have made this presentation for you, honorable ministers, is because you are our leaders in the industry and the policy and decision makers. To one, share with you what the issues are, and also to get your commitment and support that we will address these issues together over the next few years to see real results, tangible results, and get the target of moving intra-African penetration from 15% to 30% by 2025. Thank you all very much. It is now my pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister of the Champion State of SAATM, the Minister of Air, Rail and Road Transport of the Republic of Togo, Honorable Ofor Achadeji, and the host State Minister for Air Transport and Airport Infrastructure Development of Senegal, Honorable Doudou Ka, to launch the SAATM-PIP as we invite forward the states that are members of the SAATM-PIP. Thank you very much. Honorables, please. Yes, can you please help with this? The countries. It is my pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister of Capo Verde. It is my pleasure to invite the representative of Cameroon. Anyone from Cameroon? If not, we move to Côte d'Ivoire. The representative of Côte d'Ivoire. DG Silou, I saw you earlier. My pleasure to invite the Honorable Deputy Minister of Ghana. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to invite the honorable representatives from Ethiopia. Ethiopia. Honorable representatives from Rwanda. The ambassador. Thank you, Excellence. Can we have a round of applause? Pardon. Who's next? What's the next country? The next country. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure, a special pleasure, to invite the Honorable Minister of Nigeria. My pleasure to invite the Honorable Representative of Senegal. And followed closely, of course, by the Honorable Representative of the champion state, Togo.
Please give a round of applause for the champion state.
It's my pleasure to welcome the representative of Zambia. Zambia. Honorable Representative of Kenya. Kenya. Honorable Representative of Morocco. Please, I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. Can someone just check the number for me? Who? Oh. The honorable, most honorable representative of South Africa, my sister and big sister, thank you so much. Last but definitely not the least, merci beaucoup. So can we have all of the ministers present in front to join for photo? All the recipients and the ministers will have a group photo. The recipients, the members of SAATM-PIP will have a group photo.
Nous invitons tous les récipiendaires à venir prendre la photo avec les officiels.
We invite all recipients to come for the group photo. After the group photo, we will have a 30-minute coffee break at the Salon Vert.
Merci. Alors, nous invitons tout le monde à
Thank you, everyone.
Nous invitons tout le monde à la pause café qui est juste en face, juste à la sortie de la salle et à la pause café. Et pour une trentaine de minutes. Et après la pause café, on se retrouve juste ici après. On demande à tout le monde d'attendre que les officiels sortent d'abord, s'il vous plaît.
Please wait for the officials to leave the room before leaving.
On demande à tout le monde d'attendre que les officiels sortent, s'il vous plaît, d'abord. S'il vous plaît, les caméramans, s'il vous plaît. Alors, à l'heure de la pause café, il y aura la photo de famille, la photo d'abord des ministres. Après, il y aura la photo de famille de tous les représentants ici. La photo se fera à côté de la bannière qui est juste à l'entrée de la salle. Je précise encore que tout de suite après, c'est la pause café qui est juste... on demande à tout le monde de laisser d'abord les officiels passer, s'il vous plaît. Alors, nous précisons que les ministres vont prendre des photos à côté de la bannière qui est juste à l'entrée. Après, il y aura également des interviews et on fera la photo de famille avec tout le monde.
Please note that the ministers will have photos right in front of this room. at the backdrop, and then they will take place, interviews will take place. Thank you. May we have a picture? Bien sûr.
Your speech.
Thank you so much. C'est venu du cœur. Je peux avoir une photo en individuel. En tout cas, bravo, monsieur le ministre, pour tout le travail que vous avez fait.
Merci. Je vous laisse.
Parfait.
Merci beaucoup. Une dernière.
Alors, je rappelle juste que tout de suite, c'est la pause café. Les ministres en profiteront pour prendre une photo officielle. Et on invitera tout le monde aussi à se joindre à eux pour une photo de famille. Et il y aura des interviews. Ça se fera au niveau de la bannière qui est juste à l'entrée.
Qu'est-ce que tu disais? Okay. We remind that the ministers will take pictures at the door behind the backdrop, which is next door. Also, please note that the breakfast, coffee break, is at the Salon Vert.
Le coffee break, c'est pas le salon vert.
Faut te baisser avant.
Attends, le coffee break,
La
c'est
photo, c'est tout de suite.
Coffee break, c'est salon vert. Mais faut te baisser. Ou faut te baisser avant.
Oui, c'est ça.
Voilà. Il faut répéter. Salon vert. C'est le salon vert. Mais n'importe salon vert. Nous donnons son
Moi, j'ai dit en face. C'est où? Ah, d'accord.
Madame Baquet. Madame Baquet. Madame Baquet. Madame Baquet. Madame Baquet.
Moi, j'ai dit à tout le monde salon vert.
Madame Baquet.
C'est pas Madame Baquet. Je pense pas qu'elle a l'information.
Il faut qu'on vienne.
Mais lui, il a disparu.
Tous, ils ont disparu.
On nous a laissé à lui.
Ah, tu as essayé de m'appeler.
bi mën naa fay
On va faire.
léegi mu tëmb fii boo booy kii rek boo koy taalal rek fii amite ah non jeexul dese na 2 bar ma jeexul non du jeex
Parce qu'on nous a dit que c'est pas dans la salle. On nous a dit que
Là-bas où?
bi nga koy kii
Change. Okay.
pour tout à l'heure. Attends, on
For
est
next
plein.
session. Okay.
of us who long for adventure, to marvel at cultures unlike
dreams. We all have them, and they're each as unique as we are.
Some of us aspire to take on new challenges, to expand our horizons, and to create something entirely our own.
Others want to study, to grow, and to achieve things we never imagined possible.
There are those of us who long for adventure, to marvel at cultures unlike anything we've ever seen before.
And then there are those of us who want to stay closer to home, to build a family or to provide for the one we already have.
No matter what we strive to do, to see, or to become, we need the right opportunities and the right environment for our dreams to take flight.
We need a more connected and integrated Africa. The SAATM was launched to liberalize the African air transport market.
By joining and taking action, nations are becoming more integrated with each other, one step at a time.
And by increasing our unity across states, we're strengthening our economies, bringing countless benefits to ourselves and to each other.
We're finding new synergies, allowing for a freer flow of people, goods, and services. And we are supporting jobs for all, especially our youth.
With an increased commitment to implement the SAATM, new routes will open up across the continent while making it safer and more affordable to travel by air.
Giving us greater freedom to go where we want to go. So no matter who we are, our dreams can truly take flight.
With the SAATM, we can lift each other up and take Africa to new heights. Let's dream to be change makers.
Together, creating the united and prosperous Africa we all want.
To learn how to make the SAATM take flight, visit www.saatmbenefits.org. dreams. We all have them, and they're each as unique as we are.
Some of us aspire to take on new challenges, to expand our horizons, and to create something entirely our own.
Others want to study, to grow, and to achieve things we never imagined possible.
There are those of us who long for adventure, to marvel at cultures unlike anything we've ever seen before.
And then there are those of us who want to stay closer to home, to build a family or to provide for the one we already have.
No matter what we strive to do, to see, or to become, we need the right opportunities and the right environment for our dreams to take flight.
We need a more connected and integrated Africa. The SAATM was launched to liberalize the African air transport market.
By joining and taking action, nations are becoming more integrated with each other, one step at a time.
And by increasing our unity across states, we're strengthening our economies, bringing countless benefits to ourselves and to each other.
We're finding new synergies, allowing for a freer flow of people, goods, and services. And we are supporting jobs for all, especially our youth.
With an increased commitment to implement the SAATM, new routes will open up across the continent while making it safer and more affordable to travel by air.
Giving us greater freedom to go where we want to go. So no matter who we are, our dreams can truly take flight.
With the SAATM, we can lift each other up and take Africa to new heights. Let's dream to be change makers.
Together, creating the united and prosperous Africa we all want.
To learn how to make the SAATM take flight, visit www.saatmbenefits.org. Dreams. We all have them, and they're each as unique as we are.
Some of us aspire to take on new challenges, to expand our horizons, and to create something entirely our own.
Others want to study, to grow, and to achieve things we never imagined possible.
There are those of us who long for adventure, to marvel at cultures unlike anything we've ever seen before.
And then there are those of us who want to stay closer to home, to build a family, or to provide for the one we already have.
No matter what we strive to do, to see, or to become, we need the right opportunities and the right environment for our dreams to take flight.
We need a more connected and integrated Africa. The SAATM was launched to liberalize the African air transport market.
By joining and taking action, nations are becoming more integrated with each other, one step at a time.
And by increasing our unity across states, we're strengthening our economies, bringing countless benefits to ourselves and to each other.
We're finding new synergies, allowing for a freer flow of people, goods, and services. And we are supporting jobs for all, especially our youth.
With an increased commitment to implement the SAATM, new routes will open up across the continent while making it safer and more affordable to travel by air.
Giving us greater freedom to go where we want to go. So no matter who we are, our dreams can truly take flight.
With the SAATM, we can lift each other up and take Africa to... Let's dream to be change makers.
Together, creating the united and prosperous Africa we all want.
To learn how to make the SAATM take flight, visit www.saatmbenefits.org. Dreams. We all have them, and they're each as unique as we are.
Some of us aspire to take on new challenges, to expand our horizons, and to create something entirely our own.
Others want to study, to grow, and to achieve things we never imagined possible.
There are those of us who long for adventure, to marvel at cultures unlike anything we've ever seen before.
And then there are those of us who want to stay closer to home, to build a family, or to provide for the one we already have.
No matter what we strive to do, to see, or to become, we need the right opportunities and the right environment for our dreams to take flight.
We need a more connected and integrated Africa. The SAATM was launched to liberalize the African air transport market.
By joining and taking action, nations are becoming more integrated with each other, one step at a time.
And by increasing our unity across states, we're strengthening our economies, bringing countless benefits to ourselves and to each other.
We're finding new synergies, allowing for a freer flow of people, goods, and services. And we are supporting jobs for all, especially our youth.
With an increased commitment to implement the SAATM, new routes will open up across the continent, making it safer and more affordable to travel by air.
Giving us greater freedom to go where we want to go. So no matter who we are, our dreams can truly take flight.
With the SAATM, we can lift each other up and take Africa to new heights. Let's dream to be change makers.
Together, creating the united and prosperous Africa we all want.
To learn how to make the SAATM take flight, visit www.saatmbenefits.org. Dreams. We all have them, and they're each as unique as we are.
Some of us aspire to take on new challenges, to expand our horizons, and to create something entirely our own.
Others want to study, to grow, and to achieve things we never imagined possible.
There are those of us who long for adventure, to marvel at cultures unlike anything we've ever seen before.
And then there are those of us who want to stay closer to home, to build a family or to provide for the one we already have.
No matter what we strive to do, to see, or to become, we need the right opportunities and the right environment for our dreams to take flight.
We need a more connected and integrated Africa. The SAATM was launched to liberalize the African air transport market.
Joining and taking action, nations are becoming more integrated with each other, one step at a time.
And by increasing our unity across states, we're strengthening our economies, bringing countless to each other.
Synergies, allowing for a freer flow of people, goods, and services. And we are supporting jobs for all, especially our youth.
With an increased commitment to implement the SAATM, new routes will open up across the continent while making it safer and more affordable to travel by air.
Giving us greater freedom to go where we want to go. So no matter who we are, our dreams can truly take flight.
With the SAATM, we can lift each other up and take Africa to new heights. Let's dream to be change makers.
Together, creating the united and prosperous Africa we all want.
To learn how to make the SAATM take flight, visit www.saatmbenefits.org. Dreams. We all have them, and they're each as unique as we are.
Some of us aspire to take on new challenges, to expand our horizons, and to create something entirely our own.
Others want to study, to grow, and to achieve things we never imagined possible.
There are those of us who long for adventure, to marvel at cultures unlike anything we've ever seen before.
And then there are those of us who want to stay closer to home, to build a family or to provide for the one we already have.
No matter what we strive to do, to see, to become, we need the right opportunities and the right environment for our dreams to take flight.
We need a more connected and integrated Africa. The SAATM was launched to liberalize the African air transport market.
By joining and taking action, nations are becoming more integrated with each other, one step at a time.
And by increasing our unity across states, we're strengthening our economies, bringing countless benefits to ourselves and to each other.
We're finding new synergies, allowing for a freer flow of people, goods, and services. And we are supporting jobs for all, especially our youth.
With an increased commitment to implement the SAATM, new routes will open up across the continent while making it safer and more
Test. Et c'est bon? Micro yi ñu ngi dox, hein?
Capitaine Gilbert Québec.
Check, check, check. Hey. Hey. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Check, check, check. Hey, hey, hey.
ma ci sama présentation bi aussi. ngeen ne ma am naa 0,5 sax.
Non,
Alors, nous invitons tout le monde à rejoindre la salle afin que nous puissions commencer la deuxième partie de la rencontre, s'il vous plaît. N'est-ce pas, Sarah?
We invite everyone.
Vas-y, vas-y, je vais la lever. Vas-y, Sarah, tiens.
Okay. We invite everyone to please join the room as we will be starting the second session of the event. I don't think they will hear us. Huh? I don't think they will hear.
Le Congo, c'est le ministre. Afrique du Sud, c'est le ministre. Égypte, c'est le représentant. Rwanda, c'est l'ambassadeur. Avec le ministre de Togo. Oui, c'est un panel. Yes. Nous invitons tout le monde à rejoindre la salle, s'il vous plaît, afin qu'on puisse commencer la deuxième partie de la journée. Merci à toutes les délégations de rejoindre la salle afin qu'on puisse démarrer la deuxième partie de la journée, s'il vous plaît. Toutes les délégations sont invitées à rejoindre la salle afin qu'on puisse démarrer la deuxième partie de la journée.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Alors, toutes les délégations sont invitées à rejoindre la salle afin qu'on puisse démarrer la deuxième partie de la journée.
All delegations are please invited to join the room so that we can start the second phase of this event.
On invite toutes les délégations à rejoindre la salle afin qu'on puisse démarrer la journée.
We invite all delegations to please join this room so that we can start the second phase of this event.
Yes, yes.
Check.
Il y a une fiche qui a disparu. Pardon? Merci.
Check, 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 check. 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 Hey. 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 Check, 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 check.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. 1, 2. Yes, yes.
Yes. Test, test. Hey. Hey. Check. Hey. 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 Check. 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 Hey. Hey.
Okay. Test, test, test. 1, 2. Test, test. 1, 2.
Check. Hey. Check. Hey.
Test, test, test. 1, 2. Test. Test, test. 1, 2. It's working.
Test.
Test A. Test A. check.
So, good morning once again, dear excellencies, honorable and distinguished guests. I hope you had a tasteful coffee break and that you are ready to tackle the following sessions. I can't hear you. Can I have a yes? I have a word with the chef because obviously the work hasn't been done properly. I will give you a quick reminder. Of the previous session. But before, I have two key questions. Just so you know, we have a flight ticket offered by our dear partner, Air Senegal, to wherever you want in the world. The draw will take place this evening at the gala dinner. But I'm offering you an opportunity to win favorable points. So are you ready for the questions? What country is the SAATM champion state and the guest of honor? Okay, you've been too fast. I've seen two hands at the same time. Okay, ma'am, which country is the champion state, SAATM champion state, and guest of honor of this year's YD?
It's in Togo.
Can I have a round of applause? Okay, now second question. What is AFCAC's target percentage increase in fifth freedom connection by 2025? Sir, he raised his hand first.
30%.
Okay, can I have a round of applause? Congratulations. Okay, now we have a problem here. I'll have to ask one more question to, so that we can know who is the winner between ma'am and sir. So, drum rolls. Who are the key partners of this event?
IBD. IBD.
Okay. It's three of them. Give to the sir, I think.
Les partenaires principaux de l'événement sont la Banque mondiale, l'AIBD, Air Sénégal. Il y a UNICA aussi.
She said World Bank, I think. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Before giving the name of the winner, we will invite the ministries to join their seats for the presentation. His Excellency Jean-Pierre Karabaranga, Rwanda, Ambassador of Rwanda in Senegal. Her Excellency Angie Eliazi, Egypt Minister Chancellor of Egypt Civil Aviation, representing the Egypt Minister, Honorable Lydia Sindisiwe, South Africa Deputy Minister in charge of Air Transport, Nigeria Minister of Aviation, Honorable Hadi Abubakar Sirika, Congo Minister of Air Transport, Honorable Honore Sai, and the champion state of SAATM, Minister of Air, Rail, and Road Transport of the Republic of Togo, Honorable Afo Acha Deji, who will be the moderator of this session. The Rwanda Minister they will arrange the seats of Rwanda. It's 6. Yeah, the Congo. Okay, he's seated there on the right side. Yeah. Yeah. The seat. Yes. We will soon welcome the Minister of Togo. We are waiting for the organization to come with the chair that was obviously forgotten. Okay. So just a quick reminder of the first session, presided over by His Excellency Afo Acha Deji, Minister of Air, Rail, and Road Transport of the Republic of Togo, on behalf of the SAATM champion state, the special guest of honor of this YD anniversary. The first session stated that the single African air transport market, PIP, enforced by your cooperation, will allow significant freedom of air transport. We want all of Africa to be able to trade with each other freely, to meet each other, and to create with each other. With 57% of cross-borders travels being done by air, The easiest method of movement between persons and goods is air transport. Therefore, this upcoming session will be presented by a pioneer, high-end customer success-focused airline around successful case studies of fifth freedom rights, implementation, and potential fifth freedom routes in intra-Africa market. Please welcome with a round of applause, Mr. Noel Ngala from Askai Airlines.
Yes. Recevoir Monsieur Noel Ngala de Askai Airlines. Mais avant son allocution, il y a des transports aériens du Sénégal qui a tenu à offrir une maquette à ses pairs, à ses homologues des autres États, qu'on va vous distribuer à l'instant. C'est toujours dans le cadre de l'hospitalité sénégalaise aussi. Et bienvenue en cette terre de la Teranga. Juste qu'on remette aux autres ministres le cadeau qu'a bien voulu le ministre des Transports aériens. Merci, merci pour la générosité. Merci, Monsieur Doudou.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Afkak. Your Excellencies, the Ministers of Transport from the various countries that are represented today in this event, distinguished Director Generals from the various civil aviation authorities as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for your presence. I stand in front of you today with great honor and humility to share the Askai experience. Our experience from an airline's perspective, being an airline that is facing and in front of passengers every day to see exactly what it means when the policies are derived and the challenges, and exactly what our passengers are going through. From an airline perspective, we will be sharing the experience of Askai Airlines. Next slide. So in our presentation this morning, we will briefly be looking at the concept of the freedom of air, particularly the fifth freedom, with a particular emphasis on the fifth freedom rights in Africa. Then we'll see the Askai current network, which illustrates and emphasizes on the fifth freedom market that Askai Airlines serve, and some of the facts about Askai Airlines, and also the successful city pairs of the fifth freedom markets in Africa. And examples also
of fifth freedom markets that are operated by non-African carriers and the challenges. Then we'll see some of the highlight points on the importance and seriousness of why African airlines need to cooperate to improve inter-Africa connectivity and provide more capacity. And of course, sharing briefly the ASKY Ethiopian Airlines business model. Next slide, please. One slide behind. Yes. Next slide. Yes. So when we talk of, a little bit down to the history, when we talk of the freedoms of the air, we have a total of 9 existing freedoms of the air, just to go through quickly. These freedoms of the air was established after the Second World War in 1944 based on the Chicago Convention. And the first freedom of the air is the right for an airline from one country to fly over the territory of another country. Usually, this is based on overflight permits. The second freedom is the right of an airline to stop in another country for maintenance or refueling purposes. So this is where airlines apply in terms of technical stop for maintenance or refueling. And then we have the third freedom, which is the right of the airline to carry passengers or cargo from its own country to another country. Third freedom. And of course, fourth freedom, the airlines to carry passengers or cargo from a foreign country in which the airline is registered back to its hub. The fifth freedom, traffic rights, which is the most important and which is the focus of our discussion, also known as beyond rights, meaning the right of an airline to carry passengers or cargo between 2 foreign countries, provided the right originates or terminates in the country in which the airline is registered. So, for example, ASKY flying from Lome, its hub, to Abuja, and then to N'Djamena. So between Abuja and N'Djamena, it is the fifth freedom right, or if you like, beyond traffic outside the hub of ASKY. So this is the fifth freedom, the example of a kind of fifth freedom right we will be laying more emphasis on. And of course, you have the sixth freedom right, which is the right of an airline to carry passengers or cargo between the countries via the country in which the airline is registered. So for example, ASKY uplifting passengers from Dakar to Douala via Lome. So this is sixth freedom traffic rights. And this is the exact model of ASKY Airlines. It's a network carrier and it's a sixth freedom traffic operator. Then, of course, you have the seventh freedom, which basically is a standalone and applies as independent countries where 2 foreign countries entirely outside the territory of the home of the state country registered. It should be noted that the seventh freedom is mostly operated by cargo to transport cargo carriers. And of course, the eighth freedom, which is more or less, eighth and ninth freedom, which is more or less cabotage, operating domestic operations within a country. Next slide, please. So having seen the various freedoms of the air, on the screen is a snapshot photo of current ASKY network with over 26 destinations and markets covering both West and Central Africa, all markets except Mauritania, and also with connectivity from Lome on a daily basis to fly from Lome directly to JFK, directly to Washington, D.C., and directly to Newark. So basically, ASKY and Ethiopian Airlines has a model where passengers can transit through the Lome hub, ASKY regrouping passengers from all the various 26 destinations into Lome and beyond into other points, into Addis Ababa and into the US as well. So ASKY Airlines is a privately owned airline. We've been operating now for the past 12 years, since 2010, right up to 2022. And we do operate 12 aircrafts, all of the same model, Boeing 737-700s and Boeing 737-800s, unique fleet model, with a total for these 12 years, having transported a total of 7.5 million passengers for the past 12 years. And 2022, we are targeting 1 million passengers to be transported this year. We have over 35 commercial agreements as an airline with other airlines, which enables us to reinforce our network and to extend our presence in markets where we don't have as online, markets where we operate as offline. So these commercial partnership, which is very important for airlines, assist to support our network and to bring us traffic. ASKY has successfully renewed its IATA organization safety audit 4 consecutive times, and we are currently going through the 5th process to renew it. ASKY is a member of AFCAC, of AFRA, and of IATA. ASKY has presence, as mentioned, in Central and West Africa, all markets in Central and West Africa, with the most recent one, Sao Tome and Principe, opened last October. ASKY has a total employee of 532 employees from 34 different nationalities. This gives the unique Pan-Africanism of the airlines and an on-time performance of 90% on our flights, because this is where we leverage on the on-time performance to make sure departures are on time. We operate a dual baggage system, and we play the role in the sub-region as a model or as an airline to promote tourism and regional integration. Next slide, please. So when we go deeper into the Fifth Freedom markets in Africa, there is a total of 20 different Fifth Freedom markets that ASKY operates. From Accra to Robertsfield, Dakar, Praia, Douala N'Djamena, Accra, Freetown, Ouagadougou, Niamey, Dakar, Bissau, Douala, Bangui, Accra, Banjul, Libreville, Johannesburg, Lagos, Johannesburg, Cotonou, Niamey, Abuja, N'Djamena, Abuja, Yaoundé, Bamako, Conakry, Kinshasa, and the list goes on. So these are the key Fifth Freedom markets, as highlighted in yellow, which form part of ASKY's network and which we compete with other carriers as well. Next slide, please. So as we move on, it is important to look at the existence of non-African carriers in the African market also operating Fifth Freedom traffic rights. There are some few examples and some few routes which is important that we look at. There is Dakar-Conakry, and there is Abidjan-Accra, and there's Luanda-Harare. Now, if you look at the map, it is an example of a Fifth Freedom market operated by Emirates Airlines. Emirates will fly for 9 hours from Dubai to Dakar or to Conakry and do a 1-hour flight with a 777 from Conakry to Dakar. But the take is, in that same route, Dakar-Conakry, we have Emirates, Transair, Mauritania Airlines, Air Senegal, Tunis Air doing direct Fifth Freedom traffic rights as well, with a total capacity deployed in the route of 1,856 seats. What does this mean? Basically, we're seeing foreign carriers operating Fifth Freedom traffic rights in Africa, where these Fifth Freedom routes are cash cow markets for regional carriers as well. And of course, when they take this route as extensions and operate as Fifth Freedom, they really don't care, because what they're looking for is to dump the fares. They can practice any fare they want to do on the road. They have better wide-body aircrafts. Meanwhile, and in terms of cargo, baggage allowance is excessive. Meanwhile, regional carriers operate these routes as their main routes. So if you take an example of the performance of some of these routes in 2021, where between January and December, there was a total of, between Dakar and Conakry, a total of about 8,709 passengers traveled between these destinations as a city pair, round trip between these destinations. And 58% of this traffic was uplifted by Emirates. So you can imagine the impact on the regional carriers. And of course, the second was Air Senegal at 39%. Same example with Abidjan, Accra. Abidjan, Accra, Emirates transported 91% of the traffic. 91% of the traffic in 2021, with a total traffic figure of 16,568 passengers for that. And then second by Air Côte d'Ivoire. Same thing with Luanda, Harare. 11,281 passengers traveled. 58% was uplifted by a foreign carrier, Emirates, and then Ethiopian Airlines, 32%. So we see that foreign carriers continue to dominate, even on our Fifth Freedom traffic rights route. Next slide, please. Same thing with Turkish Airlines. Fifth Freedom route into Africa. Turkish Airlines will fly from, for example, Istanbul into Luanda and then to Libreville, into Ouagadougou, Freetown, Ouagadougou, Conakry, Niamey, N'Djamena, and so on. With big wide-body aircraft, similar example, just like Emirates. So we continue to encourage foreign carriers, which come with bigger aircrafts, to challenge inter-Africa traffic and simply makes the environment gives an unfair competition in the inter-Africa connectivity, as we'll see. Next slide, please. Same examples for other foreign carriers like Air France, Brussels Airlines, TAP Portugal, and Delta Airways. Connectivity still a challenge, as you have Fifth Freedom traffic rights between Accra and Sao Tome and Principe, with TAP Portugal flying from Lisbon to Accra and then to Sao Tome and Principe. This is the reason why, some of the reasons why, these are just few examples of Fifth Freedom traffic rights that is operated by foreign carriers. And this is the reason why we continue to see over 85% of African traffic being monopolized or controlled by foreign carriers. Next slide, please. Now, this brings us to actually the challenge of connectivity now in Africa, where the truth and the reality is 69% of African capital cities are still not connected. We still have the challenge of connecting African capital cities, not even the second or economic capital cities, but the major African capital cities are still not connected. As we see in these examples in the diagram. If you want to fly, for example, unfortunately, I don't have a pointer to actually illustrate, but I hope you can clearly understand. If you have to fly, for example, from Bangui, Central African Republic, to Congo, Kinshasa, actually the flight time and the distance is a 2 hours flight, but there is no airline doing this flight. You either fly up to Paris from Bangui and then come down to Kinshasa. But when Askai started, somebody flying from Bangui would fly from Bangui through Douala to Lomé, and from Lomé before attaining Kinshasa. Or you have to go east to Nairobi, from Bangui to Nairobi to Kinshasa. And we see that Bangui-Kinshasa is a 2 hours flight, 1,034 kilometers. But if you have to use an Askai flight, you will be flying for more than 10 hours just to connect from Bangui to Kinshasa. And the similar example connecting from Banjul to N'Djamena, which is a 5 hours, 15 minutes flight, but there is no direct flight, 3,000 kilometers. You have to leave from Banjul, come through Freetown to Accra, to Lomé, then to Douala, and then before you attend N'Djamena. This is a total of 11 hours that you have to spend across, which continues to illustrate the difficulties we still have in terms of connectivity in Africa. Next slide, please. Further examples also include flying from Sao Tome Principe to Praia. So you would it's a 4 hours flight, direct flight, but you would have to fly from Sao Tome to Lisbon before coming down to Praia. But when Askai started the flight almost a month ago from Sao Tome, you can now connect from Sao Tome to Libreville And then if you want to attain, for example, Praia from Libreville to Lomé, the hub, and then Lomé to Dakar and Dakar to Praia. So this illustrates the importance that ASKY plays as a regional carrier to continue to improve connectivity. And so we can imagine a scenario where ASKY was not there before and immediately after following the collapse of Air Afrique. Similar examples with Libreville, Banjul, and also as well as we continue, we see Mauritius and Douala, and also connecting from Nouakchott to Kinshasa. Nouakchott, actually, Mauritania is the only destination that ASKY is not flying to as we speak. But to connect from Nouakchott to Kinshasa, for example, is a 6 hours flight. So you can either use Air France and fly up to Paris with a transit time of 4 hours before coming down to Kinshasa. This is the only option. It is a 17 hours, 40 minutes flight. Or you can take Turkish Airlines from Nouakchott to Istanbul and then to Kinshasa for 27 hours. That is, you're using about more than 1.5 days just to travel. This is connectivity. These are the problems, the connectivity challenges we still have in Africa. Now, having seen that, it now brings us to the the important point of the need to improve connectivity in Africa by African airlines cooperating. This is the fundamental. There is no other means and no other way of improving this connectivity by us African airlines cooperating. And ASKY is a very, very open airline and is always extending a hand in terms of cooperation, and it's always extending a hand in terms of improving connectivity. So some of the important reasons and needs why we need to cooperate as airlines is principally to consolidate our inter-African traffic, moving beyond just signing simple interline agreements or SPAs and code shares into getting into joint ventures as well as African airlines to share resources. We need to provide complementary services to fill the gap and the lack of connectivity. If we agree that there's 69% of the African capital cities that are still not connected, instead of African airlines concentrating on routes that are already in high demand, and still we have routes that are still lacking in demand, it is important for the airlines to collaborate and provide complementary services, meaning you fly in the afternoon, I fly in the evening. Or you fly on these days and I fly on these days. And we redeploy capacity to other markets and to other connectivity, to provide further connectivity to these markets that are still lacking. But again, airlines can only do this with the help of the authorities. When the airlines approach, these traffic rights have to be, of course, flexible, and we have to have the means through the granting us the traffic rights, of course, through SAATM as well. And I think this is the primary reason for our meeting today. So African airlines must cooperate better to create capacity, particularly to the unserved regions, because we are still suffering in terms of connectivity in Africa. Coordinate better assistance in terms of passengers during disruptions, of course, in terms of transferring baggage and protecting passengers on the next flight. This is part of the collaboration, which is important. Creating a synergy to jointly address industry issues, approaching the authorities, approaching the service providers, approaching stakeholders together instead of individually. It gives a stronger and upper hand. And of course, to address the aero-political issues of high taxes, fees, and charges, and as well as fund repatriation, which airlines are facing currently. Sharing of resources, crew, maintenance, and all of that. And when airlines seriously cooperate as well, they play the role of ambassadors to their civil aviations to actually explain and see the importance of the collaboration that we need in Africa. And as a foreign carrier, and also to fight foreign carriers' domination on inter-African traffic. So these are some of the elements which are very important for airlines in Africa to collaborate and partner. Final slide, please. So just to end up the presentation with the ASKY Ethiopian business model, which is we think one of the most successful now in Africa. Ethiopian Airlines is a success story. It is it's a great tale and a great story of aviation and of Africa, aviation in Africa, which for over 75 years has been carefully developed with a clear strategy, thinking with a market focus and a very, very pragmatic approach in terms of handling the airline industry. In the same way, ASKY Airlines also is also a successful regional carrier. Both airlines are profitable. ASKY is a profitable airline. And it demonstrates the importance of South-South cooperation. What Ethiopian Airlines and ASKY is doing is to illustrate that we Africans can do it, and we can also do it better and fine. So Ethiopian Airlines for the past 12 years and ASKY have been collaborating based on a strong commercial model, business model approach, which is market focus and penetration, with the desire to continuously improve on African connectivity. All strategic decisions emanate from the board of directors to the managers, to the management team, without any government interference in these airlines. So it is important to note that the board of directors give the vision and the managers, the executive managers execute based on the market opportunities at hand. And this enables a very pragmatic approach to quickly make decisions and seize market opportunities. This is a fundamental part of the success of both airlines. This enables both airlines also to share internal resources and capacity. For example, in terms of commercial, today we have thousands of passengers flying from Lomé, the hub of Lomé, into the US, flying from a 1-hour flight, for example, from Libreville connecting to Lomé and to the US, or from Lagos to Lomé into the US. It is this kind of synergy and connectivity that is put in place by Ethiopia and ASKY. And of course, in terms of maintenance, there is in terms of resources, we share a lot of resources in terms of engineering, maintenance of aircraft, spare parts. If, for example, ASKY has a breakdown in any of the 26 markets where ASKY operates to, within less than 12 hours, if it's a replacement of spare part, it is easily accessible. And of course, human capital in terms of pilots, in terms of cabin crew, while training is going on. So thank you very much, and I guess I'm out of time now.
Thank you, Mr. Ngala. Thank you, Mr. Noel Ngala. Can I have a row of applause for him, please? Thank you for this presentation of successful case studies of Fifth Freedom rights implementation and potential Fifth Freedom routes in intra-Africa market. I'll give you a quick, simple, and personal example. This year, I wanted to make my first travel because, believe it or not, with my perfect English, with no accent, I never left Senegal. So I wanted to go to Seychelles, an African island, which is 2,000 kilometers and takes 3 hours. And the cost was an upward of 500 United States dollar, the cost of the flight ticket for Seychelles. While a flight to Dubai, which is 3,056 kilometers away and takes 5 hours, will cost just about 200 United States dollar. This just shows how critical these dialogues are to improve air connectivity and reduce cost of air transport. Air Force enhance service delivery to play its critical role in boosting the growth of our economies. Without further ado, we'll start the second discussion about Minister of Air, Rail, and Road Transport of the Republic of Togo, Honorable Afo Acha Deji. You can use this one.
Merci beaucoup. Ce que nous venons de suivre, cette présentation avec Askai, est très édifiant. Et nous comprenons donc que le MITA est irréversible. Et nous devrons tout faire pour que, effectivement, qu'on puisse très rapidement aller à la mise en œuvre complète. J'ai retenu que, avec le MITA, en voyant l'exemple d'Askai et éthiopienne, nous avons compris qu'il y aura la fluidité des échanges commerciaux. Et je retiens aussi, je note l'accroissement de la productivité. Et ça permet, tout à l'heure, parler d'aller au social. Le tourisme, ça c'est très important pour nos États. Ça va accroître considérablement. Aujourd'hui, en Afrique, nous avons beaucoup de coins à visiter. D'un pays à un autre, nous avons des richesses touristiques. On n'arrive pas à aller. Pourquoi? Parce que les tarifs sont prohibitifs. Donc, avec le marché qui deviendra un marché unique, donc les tarifs, on aura des tarifs compétitifs pour pouvoir se déplacer. Et les compagnies africaines pourront effectivement, j'ai noté ça aussi, face aux grands comme Air France, les compagnies américaines ou européennes, on pourra faire face à ces compagnies-là aisément. Donc, nous sommes donc appelés, effectivement, c'est qu'à terme, avec le MITA, on devient un seul marché, un seul espace ouvert. Et aujourd'hui, les accords bilatéraux que nous avons entre les pays, ces accords, à terme, vont disparaître. Et en ce moment-là, l'Afrique deviendra plus forte. Et cette connectivité, cette fluidité dont nous recherchons sera une réalité. J'ai ici le Nigeria, l'Afrique du Sud, l'Égypte, le Rwanda, le Congo. Et, Monsieur le ministre, Mesdames et Messieurs, nous voulons comprendre comment vos États sont, disons, prêts pour tirer ces avantages continentaux et quelles sont, selon vous, des actions dont vous pouvez, vous, dans vos pays, mettre en œuvre pour la mise en œuvre pleinement du MITA. Aujourd'hui, qu'est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire? Merci. Dans vos pays respectifs. Je commence par le Nigeria.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على العلي المرتضى صلى الله عليه وسلم. Since I'm the first to speak, perhaps I will create a protocol by beginning with the Honorable Minister, the Host Minister for Senegal, other distinguished ministers here present, including the AU Commissioner for Infrastructure who joined us via Zoom, of course, our own Secretary General of AFCAC, heads of other delegations, DGs of different CAAs, the AFCFTA, officials, ambassadors here present, gentlemen of the media, distinguished gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me if the protocol is not properly laid out. I'm not a protocol officer, I'm a minister.